I want you to picture this scenario. It is Friday night. You have had a long, exhausting week at work. You are walking through the mall, just killing time, maybe grabbing a pretzel. You explicitly promised yourself that you would not spend a single dime on clothes today. You are being responsible. You are being disciplined. But then, you see it. Through the window there is a leather jacket. It is gorgeous. Vintage cut. Perfect leather. It is exactly your style. You walk in, just to take a look. You flip the price tag, $400. Ouch, your heart sinks. That is way too expensive. You are smart with your money, so you put it back. You walk away. You feel proud of your self-control. But a week later, you happen to walk by that same store. The jacket is still there, but this time, something is different. There is a bright, aggressive red sticker screaming at you. Flash sale. 50% off was $400. Now, just $200. Suddenly, your brain chemistry changes. The logic center shuts down. The dopamine kicks in. You are no longer looking at a $200 expense. No, you are looking at a $200 saving. It feels like a victory. It feels like you are beating the system. If you do not buy it now, you are practically throwing money away, right? So you rush to the counter, you swipe your card, and you walk out of that store feeling like a financial genius. You think you just won the game. But here is the heartbreaking truth that retailers do not want you to know. You did not win anything. That jacket, it was never worth $400. Here is the part nobody tells you. That original price is not always the real value of the jacket. Sometimes it is just a number, picked to mess with your head. So $200 feels like a win. Welcome to the Personal Finance Tips Anchoring Effect. Hi, this is the Retail Psychology channel. And before you start beating yourself up about that purchase, listen to me closely. You are not bad with money. You are not undisciplined. You are just fighting a war you did not even know you were in. I spent the last 10 years analyzing consumer behavior for some of the biggest retail brands in America. I have worked around pricing and marketing teams for years, and trust me, they do not just ask, how much does this cost to make? They ask, what price feels expensive, and what price feels like a deal? We knew exactly what number to write on that tag to shut down your logic and trigger your impulse. It is a psychological weapon called the Personal Finance Tips Anchoring Effect. It is the reason you feel like a genius for buying a $300 blender you do not need just because it was marked down from $600. Today, I'm going to expose their entire playbook. I will show you how they manipulate your perception of value so you can finally stop bleeding cash and take back control. Let us dive in. To understand why you just bought that overpriced jacket, we have to travel back in time. The year is 1974. We are in a dusty university room with two psychologists named Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman. These two men are about to conduct an experiment that would eventually win them a Nobel Prize and change how we understand the human mind forever. They brought participants into a room and asked them to stand in front of a wheel of fortune, a giant spinning wheel with numbers from 0 to 100. But here is the catch. The wheel was rigged. It was manipulated to stop only on two specific numbers, 10 or 65. Imagine you are in that room. The wheel spins. It clicks. It stops. Let us say it lands on the number 10. Immediately after seeing that number, the researchers ask you a completely unrelated question. They ask, what percentage of African countries are members of the United Nations? Now be honest, you probably have no idea. Most people do not. A hard question. So your brain starts looking for a clue. Any clue. And the only number available in your working memory is that random number from the wheel. 10. So you guess. Maybe it is around 25%. But the people who saw the wheel land on 65, they guessed 45%. Do you see what happened? A completely random number that had absolutely nothing to do with geography manipulated their answer by almost double. This is not because these people were not smart. Because the human brain hates uncertainty. When we don't know the value of something like the price of a jacket or the number of countries in Africa, we panic. We drift in a sea of doubt. So we grab onto the first number we see like a drowning man grabs a life raft. That first number becomes the anchor. Now think about the mall again. That MSRP, that original price of $200, that is not the value of the jacket. That is just the number 65 on the wheel. It is a random number placed there specifically so that when you see the sale price of $100, your brain feels safe. You are not buying a product. You are buying relief from uncertainty. Let us leave the dusty laboratory and go somewhere nice. Tonight, I am taking you to dinner. A fancy steakhouse downtown, the kind with white tablecloths and waiters in tuxedos. You sit down. The lighting is dim. The leather menu feels heavy and expensive in your hands. You open it up. Now, pay attention to where your eyes go first. Restaurant consultants know that your eyes naturally drift to the top right corner of the page. This is prime real estate. And what do you see there? You see the anchor, the Wagyu tomahawk ribeye. Price tag, $185. Your heart skips a beat. You think to yourself, who in their right mind pays nearly $200 for a piece of meat? You feel a little intimidated. You do not want to look cheap, but you also do not want to go bankrupt on a Tuesday night. So your eyes quickly scan down. You are looking for safety. You are looking for a lifeboat. And there it is. The roasted organic chicken. $38. Or maybe the grilled salmon for $42. Suddenly, $38 feels incredibly reasonable. It feels like a bargain compared to the monster steak above it. You order the chicken. You smile at your date. You feel smart, responsible, and savvy. You think you just saved $150. But here is what the restaurant manager is whispering in the kitchen. They never expected you to buy the steak. The steak is a decoy. It is a scarecrow designed to make the $38 chicken look cheap. If I tried to sell you a $38 piece of chicken at a gas station or a grocery store, you would call the police. You would call it robbery. But because it is sitting next to a $180 anchor, you call it a deal. You happily pay a 600% markup on the cheapest meat in the kitchen, and you thank them for it. That is not culinary art. That is behavioral engineering. We all know this feeling. It is a Saturday morning. You pack the family into the car and drive 45 minutes to the premium outlets. It feels like an adventure. You walk past the fountains and the food courts, and you see the signs. Banana Republic Factory, J.Crew Factory, Saks Off 5th. You feel like an explorer who just found a gold mine. You're about to buy designer quality for Walmart prices. You grab a sweater. The tag says, original price $80. Your price $29. You throw it in the bag. You feel smart. You feel victorious. But stop right there. Take a closer look at that sweater. Feel the fabric between your fingers. Is it really the same cotton they sell in the flagship store on 5th Avenue? No, it is not. Here is the secret that fashion brands guard with their lives. And here is something a lot of people do not realize. Some outlet products are not leftovers from the main store. A lot of brands actually make outlet-specific versions, cheaper fabric, simpler stitching, fewer details. Not always, but often enough that you should assume it is possible. The $80 price tag. It is a ghost. It is a fairy tale. It exists only to serve as an anchor. Legally, they can call it a comparable value, which means absolutely nothing. It is a made-up number to trigger your fear of missing out. You are not getting a 70% discount. You are paying the full retail price for a lower quality product. But because the anchor is set so high, you thank them for ripping you off. You walk out to your car with 10 bags thinking you saved $500. In reality, you just spent $300 on future landfill. And do not even get me started on Black Friday. The Super Bowl of anchoring. You see people camping out for 3 days to buy a 50-inch TV for $200. They fight tooth and nail. They trample each other. Why? Because the flyer said the original price was $600. But check the model number on that box. Go ahead, check it. Black Friday is the Olympics of pricing psychology. Some companies release special versions of products just for that weekend. Same category, similar name, but sometimes fewer features, cheaper materials, or different model numbers. They anchor you with a high price on a product that did not exist yesterday. They create a frenzy. People acting totally irrational, like their brain just got hijacked for a second. And they do it all because they know one simple truth about human psychology. We do not buy products. We buy the feeling of getting away with something. We are addicted to the deal, not the item, and that addiction is keeping you poor. You might be sitting there thinking, I am too smart for this. I do not shop at outlets. I do not buy cheap clothes. I buy premium technology. I compare specs. I read reviews. Surely I am immune to these cheap psychological tips. Well, I have bad news for you. The smarter you are, the easier you are to fool. And nobody, nobody played this game better than the master himself, Steve Jobs. Let me take you back to January 27th, 2010. The day the iPad was born. The whole world was watching. Rumors were flying that this magical glass tablet would cost $1,000. So what did Steve do? He put a giant price tag on the screen behind him, $999. He let it sit there. He let the audience stare at it. He let that high number burn into their retinas. He let them anchor their expectations to $1,000. And then, boom, he smashed it. He revealed the real price, $499. The crowd went wild. They cheered. They screamed. Think about that for a second. $500 for a giant iPhone was not cheap back then. But because he anchored them at $1,000 first, $500 felt like a miracle. It felt like a gift from God. If he had just walked out and said the price is $500, people would have said it was too expensive. But context is everything. Apple still does this today, but now they are even more sophisticated. Why do you think the iPhone Pro Max costs $1,600? Do they really expect everyone to buy it? No. It exists to make the $1,000 regular iPhone look reasonable. It is called decoy pricing. The $1,600 phone is just a shiny object to make you feel financially responsible for spending $1,000. You are not buying a phone. You are buying the illusion of a smart choice. Listen to me. I know this sounds terrifying. You are probably sitting there thinking, is there any hope? Can I ever walk into a store without being manipulated by a team of behavioral psychologists? The answer is yes. But you have to build a mental firewall. I fall for this too. We are all human. We are all wired to seek rewards. But now that you see the strings, you can finally cut them. Here is how you fight back. Rule number 1 is called the thumb test. Whenever you see a sale tag, I want you to physically cover the original price with your thumb. Block it out. Pretend it does not exist. Look only at the current price. Then ask yourself one simple question. Is this piece of plastic worth $50 of my life energy? Do not compare the $50 to the $100. Compare the $50 to the hours of hard labor you had to work to earn it. When you remove the anchor, the deal usually disappears. Rule number 2 is the 24-hour pause. The personal finance tips. Anchoring effect relies entirely on impulse. It relies on that sudden rush of dopamine hitting your brain right now. So kill the momentum. If you see something you want, take a picture of it and walk away. Tell yourself, if I still want this tomorrow morning, I will come back. 90% of the time, you will forget about it by dinner. You are not just saving money, you are breaking the addiction. You are taking back your power from the algorithm. Look, the world is designed to separate you from your hard-earned money. It is a game played by billionaires and algorithms against you. And until today, you were playing with a blindfold on. But now the blindfold is off. You see the anchor for what it really is. Every time you walk past a sale sign and keep walking, you are winning. You are voting with your wallet. You are telling these corporations that your intelligence cannot be bought with a fake discount. You are no longer a consumer. You are an owner of your own life. That is real power. That is real wealth. If you have ever wondered why you keep spending money on stuff you do not even need, trust me, you are not alone. I am breaking down effects like this all the time. So hit subscribe and drop a comment telling me the last deal you regret buying. This is the Retail Psychology Channel. Welcome to the resistance. I will see you there.